What if the real story behind Jamie Joseph and the All Blacks coaching job isn't that he missed out, but that he simply didn't want it? Because when the All Blacks coaching position opened up again, many fans immediately assumed one thing: Jamie Joseph would be one of the leading candidates. And on paper, it made complete sense. He played for the All Blacks, he had won Super Rugby as a head coach, and he had already proven himself on the international stage by leading Japan to their greatest ever Rugby World Cup performance. For many people watching from the outside, his career seemed to be building towards that exact moment. But when the appointment was eventually made, Joseph wasn't the one stepping into the role. And that decision sparked a lot of discussion around the rugby world. How could a coach with his experience and reputation not become All Blacks coach? But when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture of Joseph's career, the situation becomes far more interesting. Because Jamie Joseph has never been a coach who rushes decisions. Throughout his career, he has consistently taken roles where he could build something properly over time. To understand why this matters, it helps to go back to where his rugby journey started. Jamie Joseph was born in Blenheim and built his reputation as a tough and reliable loose forward. In the early 1990s, he earned a selection for the All Blacks, going on to play 20 test matches between 1992 and 1995. He was known as a hard-working forward who brought physicality and commitment to the pack. While he wasn't the type of player chasing headlines, he developed a reputation for leadership and professionalism. After his international career, Joseph spent time professionally playing in Japan before eventually transitioning into coaching. Like many successful coaches, he worked his way up gradually. Assistant roles, development work, learning different systems and different environments. Those years helped shape the coaching philosophy he would later become known for. His first major breakthrough as head coach came with the Highlanders in Super Rugby. When Joseph took over the Highlanders, the franchise had struggled to find consistent success. But within a few seasons, he had built a team that believed in its identity and its systems. In 2015, that work paid off when the Highlanders won their first ever Super Rugby title. It remains one of the most impressive championship runs in the competition's history. The team wasn't filled with superstar names. Instead, Joseph created a strong team culture, clear structures, and an environment where players improved rapidly. One of the key figures alongside him during that period was Tony Brown, who worked as part of the coaching group and helped shape the attacking style of the team. Their partnership proved extremely effective, and it would later play into an important role in another chapter of Joseph's career. After the success with the Highlanders, Joseph accepted the challenge of coaching Japan's national team in 2016. At a time, Japan was still considered as an emerging rugby nation. The famous victory over South Africa at the 2015 Rugby World Cup had shocked the world, but sustaining that level of performance was another challenge entirely. Joseph's approach with Japan reflected the same long-term thinking he had used with the Highlanders. He focused on conditioning, structure, and creating a fast-paced style that rugby suited the strengths of other players. Over the next several years, the team improved steadily, becoming more competitive against traditional rugby powers. That defining moment came in the 2019 Rugby World Cup, hosted in Japan. During that tournament, Japan produced one of the most memorable campaigns in Rugby World Cup history. They defeated Ireland and Scotland during pool stages and reached the quarterfinals for the first time ever. The achievement was historic, not only for Japan, but for world rugby. It showed how far a team had developed under Joseph's leadership. By the end of the tournament, Jamie Joseph had firmly established himself as one of the most respected international coaches in the game. Eventually, Joseph returned to New Zealand rugby and resumed coaching the Highlanders, bringing valuable international experience back into the domestic game. He also became involved in the national high-performance environment through his role as head coach of the All Blacks 15, helping develop emerging players just below the full test level. So when the All Blacks coaching job became available again, his name naturally appeared in the conversation. New Zealand Rugby launched a formal recruitment process, establishing an appointment panel to evaluate candidates. The All Blacks coaching position is one of the most demanding roles in global sport. It carries enormous pressure, national expectation, and the responsibility of maintaining one of the most successful traditions in rugby history. Candidates were asked to present their vision for the team, including strategy, leadership structures, and preparation for the upcoming international competitions. Joseph's credentials clearly placed him among the most experienced coaches capable of handling such a role. However, when the process concluded, New Zealand Rugby selected another name, and that decision sparked debate among supporters and commentators across the rugby world. But there is another important factor that explains why the situation may not be as simple as first appeared. The Rugby World Cup cycle. The next tournament is scheduled for 2027. And preparing a national team to compete at the Rugby World Cup usually requires years of planning. Coaches need time to build combinations, test players, and establish tactical identity. If a new coach steps into the role late in the cycle, the preparation window becomes significantly shorter. Instead of having a 4-year cycle, they may only have a limited time period to shape the team before the tournament arrives. For a coach known for building systems long-term development, that kind of timeline would be extremely challenging. Another element often discussed within the rugby circles involves coaching groups. Successful international teams are rarely built on one coach alone. They rely on strong support staff and experienced assistants who work together to develop game plans and player development strategies. One of the most successful partnerships in Jamie Joseph's coaching career has been with Tony Brown. Brown worked alongside Joseph during the Highlanders Super Rugby title and later joined in with the Japanese national team setup. Their coaching styles complemented each other well, particularly in developing attacking structures. In recent years, Tony Brown has been working with South Africa's coaching environment. If a coach wants to assemble a trusted coaching group for a national team, availability and timing can play an important role. And that brings the discussion back to the Rugby World Cup cycle. When a World Cup finishes, many international coaching contracts naturally come to an end. That period often creates opportunities for coaching teams to be reassembled for the next 4-year cycle. For a coach like Joseph, who has previously worked closely with trusted assistants, timing could influence how and when the right opportunity appears. At the same time, coaching the All Blacks is one of the most intense jobs in global sport. Every decision is scrutinised. Every loss becomes a national conversation, and expectations are always incredibly high. Taking on that role partway through a World Cup cycle can present unique challenges, especially when the ultimate goal is preparing a team for the biggest sports tournament. Joseph's career has shown that he prefers building teams methodically rather than rushing development. His work with Japan demonstrated that what he can do as a coach if given time to implement systems and build combinations. The progress of that team over several seasons ultimately produced one of the most remarkable campaigns in world rugby history. That experience likely reinforced the importance of preparation and timing in international rugby. Regardless of the coaching appointment outcome, Jamie Joseph remains one of the most respected figures in the sport. He has contributed to the rugby as both a player and a coach at the highest level. His work has influenced teams in New Zealand rugby and internationally, and many players who have worked with him speak highly of his leadership and attention to detail. The conversation around the All Blacks coaching role reflects the passion that surrounds rugby in New Zealand. Supporters care deeply about the direction of the national team, and coaching decisions naturally generate lots of discussion. What remains clear is that Joseph's career continues to be an important part of the global rugby story. From representing the All Blacks as a player to guiding Japan to historic success and leading teams in Super Rugby, his journey through the sport has been defined by commitment and leadership. And in international rugby, coaching careers rarely follow a single predictable path. Opportunities evolve, circumstances change, and the sport itself continues to develop. Jamie Joseph has already achieved a great deal within the game, and his influence within rugby remains significant. Whether through developing players, leading professional teams, or contributing to national rugby systems, his work continues to shape the sport. And that's why the story surrounding All Blacks coaching roles remains such an interesting one for the rugby fans. Because sometimes the biggest moment in the sport is not just about decisions that are made, but it's also about the timing behind them. Ever wanted to create your own rugby highlights channel just like this one? With my course, the YouTube Creator Toolkit, I show you exactly how I do it. From the tools I use to the templates I built. You get everything. Just copy, paste, and start creating. Learn how to grow your channel, keep viewers hooked, and turn views into income. Click the link in the description below to learn more and start your channel today. Now back to the video. If you enjoyed this video and want more rugby stories just like this, make sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace!